The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users on demand on iTunes and on YouTube and on my site, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you are welcome and encouraged to comment. And thanks to our friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we are syndicated across the United States into 12 million additional households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. I know many of you are used to having to turn your speakers and headsets down when I take to the microphone because I have this resonating, booming voice. And I know for you, you're probably a little bit disappointed that my voice is a little bit more evenly modulated today. I'm a little bit, just a tad under the weather. Overdid it over the Memorial weekend, I believe. Too much good red meat. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, deviled eggs. What else did I have that wasn't good for me? Cheese. I mean, it was the most delicious meals I've ever had.
And lots of red meat.
I did say lots of red meat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, you got to do it every once in a while. Sometimes. Oh, thank you for that, Alan. That was a very moving experience. Just don't horn in on this, okay? Anyway, I mean, him jumping in like that is utterly ridiculous. And, you know, so I said, you know what, I'm going to let Alan do the show today. I'm going to go home. And then when I got home, I said, you know what, I'm going to give it the old college try. So here I am, all pumped up with protein that my friend Dan forced me to ingest at the point of a gun over the Memorial weekend, and I'm going to work it off by burning off some of the energy during the show here today. Well, what I thought we would talk about today, if you guys don't mind, and I hope you don't, otherwise I'll just say, Alan, the show's a bust, you take over, is a couple of things that happened with two of the candidates over the weekend. One, Hillary Rodham Clinton, who in an interview with a newspaper, said that she's staying in the race because, well, a lot can change. Her husband didn't get enough delegate votes to clinch the nomination until June. And remember, Bobby Kennedy was assassinated in June. And a lot of people thought, oh my God, did she really just say that? Is she suggesting that she's going to stay in the race in the event that prior to the convention, Barack Obama is assassinated? Did she really say that? Now, some might say, you know, these off-the-cuff remarks, candidates stick their feet into their mouth quite often. But to me, it was almost like she inadvertently revealed some of her deepest thoughts, that she's going to stay in the race in case Obama gets knocked off. I found it to be extremely poor form, shocking, and disgusting. And then we had John McCain explaining to a Memorial Day crowd yesterday in New Mexico the reason why he opposes the GI Bill. It's not because, as Barack Obama has been saying, he's opposed to giving educational and vocational opportunities to our returning veterans. No, no, no. It's because the current bill offers the same benefits whether they serve one tour of duty or 2 or 3. So, excuse me, it becomes a disincentive to the service members to re-up and serve additional tours of duty. That's what he is saying. So, Alan J.C., let me start with you, our political correspondent and would-be host of the show today, had I not pulled the chair from under you as you tried to sit down in front of the microphone a few moments ago. How do you view what Hillary said and of course, McCain's apparent flip-flop on the GI Bill?
Well, you know, my take on it is like Hillary Clinton. This is not the first time she's said it, and the way she said it, she was it was like a very, a matter-of-fact way she said it, but it was one of those things that there was no need to say it. There were other better examples. I mean, even the fact that at that press conference, she used the fact that her husband hadn't clinched the nomination until June. Well, it was over in April that year. I mean, that was already like 15 or 16 in a row that he had clinched. He had wiped out all the competition. So I mean, it was a moot point at that she was echoing. Also, what she does not recall is that the Iowa and New Hampshire primaries were not the first week and second week in January. They didn't start till the middle of February and the end of February. So the calendar was moved back much later. Again, it's so disingenuous. I mean, that's the word that I keep having to use when I hear the arguments for her staying in the race. And again, she has every right to stay in the race to the end. That's not the issue. It's the arguments over why she should stay in the race. They just don't add up. Stay in the race because you just want to stay in the race, whatever, finish it up. I mean, she's, running a good campaign these last, month and a half. Fine, go out the right way. Go out with some class and dignity. And at this point, I think she's just trashing any kind of legacy she has. And, these arguments that they keep making about counting Michigan and the disenfranchised people in Florida. I mean, come on, in Florida, she and her committee agreed on the Michigan thing. Florida, while it was forced by the Florida governor to move up the election or the primary, there was no opposition by the Democrats in the state Senate of Florida. It was a unanimous vote. It was 118-0. So to say that the Democrats, were just pulled along for the ride, I mean, it's disingenuous. So I just think you should just. All these arguments are ridiculous. As far as McCain flip-flopping on the GI Bill, you can't on the one hand say that we support our troops except when it comes to